Hello and welcome. My name is Danielle,
And I'm Rada.
and we're here today to discuss the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, which begins November 8th. So, Rada, we're doing a bit of an energy check-in with everyone. What are you feeling around this time? What's
I'm
happening for you?
I'm really feeling that a lot of people will be having revelations of things that have been perhaps in the shadows or in the dark, and the total lunar eclipse is sort of lifting the veil off of
Mm,
everything so that we can see more clearly. And
yes.
better or worse.
Oh gosh. Yeah, the Taurus lunar eclipse is actually a spotlight, and it's almost gonna shine in on what we're most like insecure about, is what I'm getting.
Mhm.
So we'll be experiencing a little bit of instability, but we can also feel emotionally a little uneasy because of that. So it's going to get us to do something about it and finally make improvements in our life. And I really like that. I feel like it's needed for a lot of people. What do you think, Rhoda?
I couldn't agree more. I think that it's going to lift the veil off of our insecurities too, wherever we feel insecure in a relationship or in our life or whatever that area is. It's actually going to highlight it in a way that encourages us to take action and make change, because the whole point of this lunar eclipse is really to help us move forward to exactly where we need to be. So anything that's stagnant, that's been a roadblock or keeping us stuck, things are going to get unhinged that didn't belong there. um
Mm.
Things are going to be like really obvious of what's not working, so that we can jumpstart, reset before the end of the year and get back on track.
Yeah, that's really powerful. It actually is from what I'm hearing, one of the biggest astrological events of the year. It's a sort of death and rebirth and a turning point that's going to bring a lot of karmic justice. So I really like that. I feel really good about that. I'm ready to step into this new year, cleansing out a lot of the old, even if it's, things that make me uncomfortable. Hey, if it's not meant to be in my life, let's get rid of it. We don't need that baggage.
And also attitude. I also think karmic patterns will be coming to the forefront, areas where we thought, like this is just the way it is, or this is how we're comfortable. Like the patterns will be shown, revealing themselves to us and our own
Mm.
patterns. And so it's really an invitation of, analyzing where we are without that harsh inner critic, but with love and compassion, and be like, wow, let's see where we've grown. Like, what have we outgrown at this stage in our life? Because this past year has been pushing and pushing us to sort of, it's like churning through our energies, allowing us to release what no longer serves, to upgrade. It's been sort of like an uphill kind of a year.
Yeah.
you know? And it's like we're about to hit the peak and the top, but we have to let something else go before we can get to the top. What are we willing to release? As we're moving to the very crest and top of the mountain, we have to like surrender one more thing or two more things or something to lighten our load.
Wow, that's so perfectly said. It's almost like an initiation, because we're evolving, we're growing, those who are doing the work. And when you're being brought into a higher state of awareness, it really does connect you more and more to your true and highest best self.
Mhm.
So I feel like this is a really good time to be honest with yourself and connect into that heart-centered space that will only connect you to others versus like, ego, for example. And there's nothing wrong with ego. Ego is very important. It's important to do, shadow work and all that. However, we're evolving and it's a beautiful time to let go, release, let go of the traumas, the burdens. I mean, to the best of your ability, because I know, again, it's healing is a consistent thing. No one's perfect. Even when you're at your best, there's always a better version. So I feel like this full moon is a great opportunity to just release and let go and allow that heightened awareness to shine through.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm really excited that I feel all of us have collectively been shaking out the old, shaking out. We've been confronted a lot with the shadow. Um, the shadow throughout the year has been a huge theme, and
Mhm.
um, you know, it's always a good thing to do. But I think both positive and negative things will come to light, negative things that we are didn't want to look at, right? That we didn't maybe think to look at. But I feel that especially if you're intuitive, like so much is going to come online for you. It's almost like, okay, well, you're ready for this information, you're mature, you can handle it. And also that could be positive information. So, unexpected positive things can come through and help us make those final shifts because we're really gearing up for, the end of the year. And I know that like we still have like ways to go. A lot of people are emotionally fatigued, like I know that like it's just there's this feeling of like, oh, we got to get through this year, Come on, let's do this. And we're still holding out for
Yeah.
yeah, something, are the last bits that we need to do to get everything in order. So the energies can be intense and they can be a little dragging. But I would say like, drink a lot of water, drink lemon water, eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, like try to take energizing foods and substances like, drinking lemon water. That's going to really help cleanse your body because it's like we're purging one more big time before the end of the year.
Ooh, I like that purging. You know, when you were talking, I was being reminded of something I feel I want to share with everyone. And when you were talking about the water and cleansing and purging, you recommended something that worked really great for me. And again, this is going to be different for everyone, but there's a supplement on the market called MSM supplement. And I take it daily and I really helps with my clarity. So I do feel this is a great opportunity to purge out in any way you possibly can. And so, anyone who's suffering with any kind of like inflammation, chronic pain, like if you're having issues with your joints, clarity, there's a whole list on how that supplement can help you. But even just as simple as, an Epsom salt bath or, a coffee enema, these are all wonderful things that we could do to release, to let go of the blockages, because everything's an energetic block, right? Rada, wouldn't you say it's the love that's energetic?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, all the things, our intestinal tract, our body, we hold so much emotion inside of us in different pockets in our body. When I get stressed out, I feel pain in certain parts of my body. And I know, wow, this is where my body's holding onto that stress. So I have to tune in and release. But yeah, like the MSM, it totally helps to like release a lot of toxins. And the toxins are usually attached to emotions too. It's really interesting how that works. That's like when somebody does really deep energy healing work and they're just doing the energy work on their emotions, there can be a huge purge that comes through in the physical too.
mhm,
So sometimes people they can get sick after a massive healing, and that's not like they're not getting sick for a long time, but they might feel just sick for a day or feel like they want to throw up. Like sometimes they might feel
right.
because they're purging out and the toxic energies and emotions are kind of like married together. So as we
Mhm,
are
mhm.
unwinding we're unwinding in our intestinal tract. A lot of emotions get stuck in the intestinal tract. It's wild. So yeah, like you said, the coffee enemas are incredible, and they really help to release a lot of stuck emotions. And everything that we do works together in unison. You know, our emotions work with our body. And so when we start to think and realize we're holistic beings, we can work in unison so that we can get the best results. Like the purge is mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, right?
Right. I feel like it's so important to be gentle with yourself. So, like you said, it might be a day or two, you might feel under the weather, but if you need rest, get that rest. Your nervous system is in a place where it needs to be nurtured, and we do live in a very busy society where people struggle with getting that break they need. And some have very strict agenda, like a schedule, an agenda they work with. And I would say carve some time out in the day if you could, simply because it's really important to allow the body to rest, and process these emotions. Otherwise,
Mm.
it does create that blockage. I mean, even in some cases, as simple as like, I can't cry that easily. And, if that's a part in your heart where it's feeling confined, it needs to like release, you could even, lean on holistic modalities such as tapping to help release some of that. I mean, there's so many ways, but ultimately, I feel yeah, I feel the full moon is just a great time for purging, and it's going to really reveal the truth. And often it's done in a very dramatic way, but it's only as dramatic as you allow it, because it's literally what creates that momentum to make that change in your life.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Well, I'm really excited because we're being shown the pathway forward, and as intense as it is, we will get through this. And we are going to rise above the pain and upheaval. And that's something we talked about earlier, Danielle, is like when it's showing up in our field, we acknowledge it. We don't bypass it at all. We completely acknowledge it because that's part of the process as you feel to heal. And then
Mhm.
you can rise above, like rise, and be like, well, I'm not going to
Mhm.
stay stuck there. Like I could just crumble and I could cry and I could be upset, but I'm not going to. I'm going to continue to rise because I've built so much momentum in this
Right.
upward journey. It's like you're already almost at the top of the hill. Why would you just roll down and feel sorry for yourself? Like get up and keep moving, even if it's slow, right? One step at a time. But I can tell you, I do feel the fruits of the labor, um, from doing all the work coming to fruition for many of us who have been doing the work. And yeah, it does take some effort. Danielle and I both do spinning. We do
Mhm.
monthly spinning circles called Spinning Goddess. And you can join, like you can hop on a call with us and we literally will clear for the group, and people have like these profound shifts. It's like you need to be on an upkeep with your emotional hygiene, because
Right.
many people just wait till they build up to a point where they just explode and then they spiral down. And it's like, no, you have to keep the momentum moving. You have to keep clearing the energy inside, keep really balancing yourself. And the more that these times are challenging, and they're very dualistic at this time, and it's heightening and heightening, the more we have to find our inner balance, right? We have to find our um inner center where we can come back to again and again. And with that, as you develop it, you realize, wow, I'm really powerful, I'm really strong. Like no matter what's happening, the world could crumble down around me, but I know that it's not that I'm not feeling, I can feel it all, and I can continue to rise and move forward. Because when you come so far and you've worked from inside first, you're not just gonna crumble and fall, right?
Right. whenever you have a really big shift mentally and spiritually, you have to allow that patience between when you've made the shift to transition into a connection to your current, like your what is going to be your current reality. So there's a little bit of a almost a cultivating of crossing the bridge from one perspective to another, or physically, spiritually. I mean, it's a veil, it's very thin, and it could be said in many different ways, but you have to give yourself patience and allow that time for it to come into your reality. And it could be quick, manifestations happen quickly. It could take time. So I would definitely, inspire I want to inspire everyone to just keep going and do the work and choose to keep moving forward, even if things still on your outer circumstances are very difficult, because it's quite simply, it could be a clearing of something that you've attracted from the past, quote unquote, but it's an experience. It's a part of the growth. It's a part of the lesson. It's part of mastering that part of yourself. So you'll never go back to that place. But it doesn't, it deserves just as much attention. So observe and then be patient. So yeah, I feel like this full moon is going to unravel a lot for a lot of people who are ready and their minds have been expanding. Or, if you're stumble across this, I mean, I would definitely recommend connecting with us online. We have a lot of different things we offer, and one of the big projects that we're working on right now is the group energy healing event we do monthly, like Rada said. And this is a great way to help, I guess you would say, create that spiritual hygiene. Wouldn't you say, Rada? It's like kind of like unraveling a lot of things you may or may have not been aware of energetically.
It's incredible. So we tune into the group and we ask participants to share what's coming up, and we're clearing in real time. So people are feeling like, oh wow, they're just releasing all of this stuff, and afterwards they just feel so much better, because it's that accumulation of emotions and energies that when we don't tend to them or unravel them, it can start to create like something very toxic inside of us. So I'm really grateful that we do this monthly. We keep it super affordable because it's just a fraction of the cost of a session. So, and we love the energy of a group session. Everyone is in their own sacred space, and yeah, it's so cool to hear the feedback, like the next day. So
I love it too, because it's one of those things where when two or more people come together, like you've mentioned, I've heard it all my life, Rada, it becomes so powerful, and it's such a great way to connect with community. And a lot of the people who join, may have had experience in holistic healing, and maybe it's their first time, but that's what's so great is you can connect with people and ultimately have that safe container to relax. And you get a little bit each month. Every month, every session is very different. So I highly suggest you guys check us out. And if you feel called to join, we always welcome you with lots of love and support. And I really hope that whoever does get an opportunity to listen to this, at least maybe watch testimony of what others have experienced. Maybe that will help too, to give you a different perspective. But ultimately, I'd want to thank you, Rada, because you've really been the person to help bring in a lot of this information into my life through the people I work with, the healing that we do one-on-one, and it's so phenomenal. And I couldn't be more happy to go into the new year releasing all this. So I want to thank you as well, and for those who are listening.
Oh, thank you, Danielle. Yeah, we have so much fun together. It's a blast. It's just a blast. So join us, but also, take time to journal too, this evening, tomorrow night. Write down 2 lists. One being what you are ready to release. Be really honest, really honest. What have you outgrown? What have you outgrown? and then write a list. What are you ready to receive? Because as we release, we open new doors to receiving. And it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see what comes in.
Yay! I know, I'm so excited. It feels like a new year right now.
Yeah, it really does. Take this
Yeah.
momentous time, do something amazing, and I hope that you will join us in our next event as well. And our information is below. So until then, much love, blessings to you all, and let us continue to rise. Bye for now.